So many trees.
It's beautiful, right?
That's definitely not Boston.
Here we go. Okay, so what do you think?
Wow. This whole place is ours?
I even got him to throw in a whole forest as a new backyard.
Stephen King's Pet Sematary. You may remember this one from 1989. This one, however, is one of the many new age remakes piling their way onto the cinema screens, and it's the latest from director duo Kevin Kolsch and Dennis Widmyer, who have taken the helm of this adaptation. As a fan of the horror genre, it was a privilege to see the pre-release screening of Pet Sematary, and I'm delighted to say I think this is a worthy remake that brings a much darker and sinister approach to the King classic. Whether you've read the novel or not, this perhaps lesser-known supernatural horror from King delivers on a lot of fronts. It shouldn't be difficult to go wrong with an adaptation like this, especially when the material has already been written and masterfully fine-tuned by Stephen King. Then again, there was The Dark Tower in 2017. Yeah, anyway. The film starts off with loving couple Lewis and Rachel Creed, played by Jason Clarke and Amy Seimetz respectively, leaving their busy city life and relocating to a secluded and rural area of the country. Heard that one before? The film does torture some very original genre conventions, and it gets even better, because not only is their new house more or less in the middle of nowhere, it leads onto a deep woodland that is set on an old and mysterious tribal burial ground that harbours a dark supernatural power. When the couple's pet cat Church is killed by a car, it is left to John Lithgow's character Judd to reveal just what that power is.
Those woods belong to something else.
What escalates are the tragic and evil consequences. Watch out, cat lovers. Going into the film, it's easy to think this is going to be a run-off-the-mill horror flick, a gap filler between the next blockbuster. But this is Stephen King, and I really appreciated what the filmmakers did with Pet Sematary. This isn't a relentless tirade of jump scare after jump scare. This is psychological horror at its finest.
Maybe just some crazy folk tale. But there is something up in those woods. There's something that brings things back.
There is some masterful suspense created throughout, with a big twist at the end. I was thoroughly entertained and very much sunk into my chair. Visually, the film is beautifully shot, delightfully creepy in places, and while there are questionable moments, I felt the story for the most part was well executed in roughly 96 minutes of runtime. Although, be warned, it is difficult to watch in places. The film delivers some excellent performances from the cast. You may remember Jason Clarke from 2018 horror flick Winchester, alongside Helen Mirren. I appreciate that film had mixed reviews, but he's a top actor, and it's great to see him getting the top billing for this one. Another performance of significant note was from young actress Yet Lawrence as Ellie.
Daddy.
She will certainly be haunting a few nightmares following this one, and she is one to look out for in the future. Is this the best Stephen King adaptation I've seen? Probably not. Is it up there with the best? Probably. If you appreciate a good story but are stuck for something to watch, even if horror isn't your thing, spend some time away from some of the more mainstream releases and give Pet Sematary a go.
Sometimes dead is better.